Hello there and welcome to another edition of Robot Wars Unveiled. This time we're on Series 2 now, Heat C. I hope you enjoy. Heat C was the first time in Robot Wars history that the seeded robot, in this case Mortis, won the heat. Heat C contained only two newcomers to the second Wars, although Challenger's driver, Stephen Doe, was also a driver of the stock bot Eubank the Mouse from Series 1. Griffin's appearance in this heat was the only time in the original run of Robot Wars, barring Series 3, which had no seeds, a grand finalist from the previous year returned unseeded. This is the debut of Team Supernova with their machine, Oblivion. Søren Belentran was inspired to build Oblivion after watching Mortis in Series 1. He would go on to fight Mortis in the heat final of Series 2. He later found out that they both went to the same secondary school, and team member Arthur Shilcott provided a lot of the material for the building of Oblivion 2 later on. Griffin's loss marked the first occasion of a grand finalist from the previous series being eliminated in the first round of the UK Championship. Despite being seeded, Mortis still attended the rehearsals for Series 2. Ramesses II was possibly the first competitor in Robot Wars to use high-density polythene, HDPE armor for short, many years before this became commonly accepted in robot combat. Though the Ramesses team would never return, they are spotted in the background of the pits in Series 3 with a modified bronze-looking robot with a pointed axe. It's possibly the robot that was their third machine called Thermosis 3, or Thermosis III, and was likely a reserve for the series. Ramesses II used the same axe blade as its predecessor, Scarab. The episode set a Robot Wars record at the time for gaining the most viewers watching the episode according to the BARB. Mortis managed to cause tremendous damage to Matilda during its gauntlet run, so much so the Matilda cam was completely shattered. Though coming after the tug-of-war trial in Heat B, the joust was actually filmed before the tug-of-war trial. And that is it for today. Now, Series 2 as a whole is a series which, whilst it technically had the most viewers that Robot Wars ever had in the show's history, it's such a weak series in my opinion. I'm not really a fan of Series 2 that much. It's not dreadful, and over the years it has gone up in my opinion in terms of decency. But at the same time, I don't know. I just don't really like the gauntlet or trial. I think that really ruins the show for me. It's called Robot Wars, and why do we need to have them do, trials and gauntlets? I do not know. It isn't helped that there's a lot of really boring, slow battles, slow, gauntlet runs and trial runs and all that. Whilst it does have a lot going for it, this was basically Series 6 in the sense that it had all these books, all these releases, all this stuff, for this one particular series. They really hyped Series 2 up. Series 2 just, I don't know, as a whole, it's just very dull, and it's not helped that, it had a lot of controversy as well, especially with Heat A's final. In this particular episode, however, I find Mortis to be the best part of it, for sure. Mortis just axing away, the power of the axe is more, well built. It's funny how this Mortis, which looks the most boxy and less like the other Mortises, is the most successful one. It's a bit like Kilotron. The only time it ever did really, really well was when it was orange instead of pink. It's funny how the most radically different look for certain robots always ends up being the best. Exterminator is another example. But yeah, Mortis, he's definitely the best part. The way it axes Matilda, the way it axes at Oblivion as well. I think, Mortis is definitely the big highlight of this episode. But you take Mortis away, the rest of the episode is pretty mediocre, honestly. Series 2 as a whole, it suffers from mediocrity a lot. It's not dreadful by any stretch of imagination. There are a lot of great moments here and there, but I mentioned this in my top 10 best and top 10 worst Robot Wars episodes, in the sense that just because there are great moments doesn't mean the whole thing is great. Sometimes things are just okay, or in the middle, or not good. And with Series 2 Heat C, the best part about it is obviously the seed of Mortis. Everything else is kind of forgettable, if I'm perfectly honest, but it does have some good moments here and there. The Heat Final, for example, is very good. The Gauntlet run with Mortis is also a lot of fun, but yeah. So, let's use the randomizer to see what episode comes next. So, we got another Mortis heat next time. It's Heat F from Series 3, one of my all-time favourite episodes of Rules ever. I love Series 3 as a whole. I love this episode. It's fantastic. I can't wait for this one. And I'll see you next time.